Well, I've been a bit silent all week. Not much to really talk about. Too busy licking my wounds all week. We had a very crummy day, very crummy week at the track. But, you know, as I say to our clients, as I say to James, Amy, myself, you really need to take a step back. When I look at the horses I raced the other night, anytime Brave World gets roughed up like that, he'll race bad. But, you know, looking closer at Brave World, much like the situation with Peanut, don't believe me, just watch. There's a horse with 31 starts this year. Peanut had, what, 33? There's 52 weeks in the year. We just started into December, so you do the math. They've raced almost every week, so or plenty of the year at least. So a little rest, a month off for Brave World certainly isn't going to hurt him. And then the situation was a little more frustrating with High Gear No Fear, because this is a horse that we bought to be a good horse now, and you saw the decline as soon as we got him, right? He raced okay at the Meadows, and we took him to Northfield. He hit himself, made a break. Then we were patching that up. Then he got sick. You know, it just seemed like we had this real drop in High Gear No Fear, and you know, we had a lot of people making assumptions about the horse and his blood and this and that. And at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but none of those support what I see in the horse's blood. The horse trained faster than he raced the other night. Did he tie up? Did he get sick? Did he bleed? Was it all of the above? There was some mucus there. There was a little blood there. Not really enough to get too worked up about, but at the same time, it was present. It was. So, another horse that maybe we'll give some time off. Not maybe, he's in the field right now. He's going to get 4 weeks off, and as I said to the lady, we'll return them out. She does a fabulous job fattening them up. He was a little bit underweight. I said, listen, Carol, I'd love to bring him back in a month, but I'll bring him back when you tell me he's ready to come back. So if that's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or even 8, then that's what it's going to be. As I said to everybody leading up to this break, mechanically there's nothing wrong with the horse. He's not lame, he's not sore, so that's a good thing. We don't have to rest him for that. We have to rest him for a whole other issue. He's tired, he's a little burnt out. So we can give him the time. It's not the end of the world. There's a long winter ahead, long spring ahead, and lots of racing for a horse like High Gear No Fear. So that's those two. Yes was flat last week. Tour de Lindy made a break. Now, over the phone, I spoke with the blacksmith a little bit, and Lauren also, about making some shoeing changes with him. I'll be there to drive him Sunday night. I know we had a couple of people that were saying, you know, well, why didn't you go drive him the other night? Well, I had committed to Ronnie Wren to drive the horse, right? I had spoke to Ronnie before the series started and told him whatever horse we ended up claiming he could drive in the final, which he agreed to. So it was pretty hard for me to claim the horse and then say, oh, by the way, Ronnie, I'm going to drive him. It just wasn't going to happen. Not to mention I had committed myself to that driving thing in London. So it just the way it worked out, you know. So I'll be there Sunday to go with Tour de Lindy. I'll be there to go with Yes. We made a couple of little changes. Now, as you can imagine, as the track gets harder and colder, there's some changes in the surface also. So maybe the shoes that we had on Yes were really good for for the summer, but maybe not so great for right now, and there's no real way to know about it until Sunday. I'll let you know Sunday after the race what I think. There's another horse that's been racing great for us. The last thing we want to do is back him into a corner where if he's a little tired and we could give him a month off to freshen him up and we keep racing him, you know, that's a horse especially you don't want to be pushing too hard into that well, because we know that he got injured 2 years ago, so we don't want that to bubble back up. From what I can see, talking to Aaron, talking to Lauren about the horse, it's just simply that the horse's shoes maybe need a little tweaking. We did that. I'll be there Sunday to drive. Now, I can't drive Stonebridge Simba on Sunday night. I told you he would be better the other night. I think if Ryan, you know, if I had to talk to Ryan beforehand and told him that I thought these bar shoes, we took them off, he'd be better. I think if he removes them to the front, he's a winner. The horse raced great, regardless. In a little bit tougher, and he's got a late race. Now, it's not that I didn't want to drive him in tougher. I was happy to drive him, but Amy is coming over to Northfield Park with me on Sunday night. Can't be leaving at 11 o'clock. You know, we get home at 3. So, if I leave after race 3, 4, 5, 1, 6, whatever it is, I think we're home at around 12:30. 12:30, 1 o'clock, which is a perfect time for us. It's very fair. So I think that's what I'm going to do in that regard. I'll get a chance to check in with a number of the other horses coming back. I've asked Wayne Schaefer to bring back the 3 horses that we turned out from the Meadows, that being Mama Knows Best, I'm a Lovely Lady, and Walk on the Moon. They're going back to Northfield Park to continue start their journey back to the track. And then speaking of coming back to the track, raced a couple of qualifiers, or a schooler and a qualifier today. It was so weird because when I got there, it was like literally gale force winds. It was windy, and as the morning went on, the wind kind of died out. It's beautiful now. It's 5 degrees Celsius here in Ontario. I guess that's what, about 42, something like that. It's actually a nice day, and the wind has died down. But when Rose Above It went behind the gate, it was fairly windy, as you can see in the qualifier. But a good qualifier for him, 2-3. You know, it wasn't land speed records, but it was a good qualifier for that colt. And as I said to James, we had sold Duke Dio this week. I think Duke Dio was probably a full second slower, or at least 2 maybe, than Rose Above It, and he was almost there to where we could find a comfortable class for him on a full-time basis. We couldn't, so we opted to move him on. I don't think we'll have that problem with Rose Above It. He looked good at the qualifiers today. Do we race him or requalify him? I think we just race him. Just put him in the maiden at Mohawk. He's not ready to trot 57, 58, but if you find the middle of the pack with him, you know, James can go and find the middle of the pack with him and get him a couple of good races. I think you'll see Rose Above It come forward in a pretty good way. And a horse that looked very, very good was Prairie Fire, schooling those of you out there who waited all summer. Your wait is over. He'll be qualifying next week. He schooled very good this morning, 2 minutes or so. Now, that would have been 3 seconds faster than Rose Above It, but at the same time, there was no wind when Prairie Fire went, and he had a couple of pacers to chase, where Rosie had just some other 2-year-old trotters to chase in front of him. So Prairie Fire's ready to go, and quite frankly, I'm not trying to compare the two. Prairie Fire's a better horse than Rose Above It. Not by much, but by a bit. And I think Prairie Fire is ready to qualify next week. Very happy with both those trotters today. As I said to a couple of our clients, yes, we turned out some tired legs this week, but there's some fresh ones on the way. As I said, these two guys are ready to qualify. We are still actively looking for a couple of more horses. Swans Honey is in to go at Flamborough tomorrow night. LD's Patrick, I told you guys to keep an eye on him. He was supposed to be in on Monday, but the class didn't go, so it looks like he'll race on Thursday, the day before open house. So hopefully we have a great week heading into our open house next Friday, because it's been a crummy one this week. But you know, most of you have been with us long enough. This is racing, right? You really have to take the good with the bad. There's going to be peaks and valleys, and I'll tell you what, for the first time in my life, we had the peaks grossly outweighed the valleys this year. So it's been a great 2021. We're trying to get our feet back under us for the winter, fall into the winter, and as I said, not a lot to look at on the on-gate sale board or the Standardbred Canada one, but there is a big sale coming up at the Meadowlands in January. We will have our eyes open. Bad news being that claiming series I've been touting, you know, that $40,000 claimer at Mohawk, it didn't fill. So it's not going to go. So that takes that off of our horizon. Again, as I said, keeping an eye out for that Meadowlands sale to see what's in there. Hopefully there's some fresh legs in there and some good horses. Usually there's always 1 or 2 heavy hitters. I know they sold Beads there 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, I think. So there's always some big question marks looming at that sale, and I'm going to take a real close look at it. So for those of you out there, we're not done yet. We're still looking for a horse or 2 for the winter. Haven't found one that I liked yet. We get outbid on a couple over the last 3 weeks, but we'll keep swinging and we'll get some more horses in. As I said, the Brave Worlds and the High Gear No Fear, they're scheduled for a month off. Brave World won't need more than a month off. We'll see about High Gear No Fear, but neither of those horses have any lameness issues, so it's certainly just as I said, a little tired soldier needs some time in the field to relax and recuperate, and we'll get those guys back in. So a week, so to speak, but at the same time, see what I did there, week, so to speak. But at the same time, chin up, and get a long winter ahead of us. A lot of horses on their way back now, coming back in, and of course, we have our open house. First time ever this late in the season. It will be on Christmas Eve this year, which is next Friday. Everybody's pumped at the barn. They're all in work mode now. Everybody got a couple still out here jogging. We're just going back by the farm. That's how long it takes to get from Mohawk to our farm. If you're not from around here, you were here for the whole ride. I was pulling out of Mohawk. Now I'm pulling into Tomiko Training Center. We get a couple of our horses still out there, but for the most part, 11:30, and all of them done. We have upwards of 85 horses on the training center now, so lots of work every morning for everybody. Really happy to see all of our clients still come out the other day. If you're in the area tomorrow, we are going to be training tomorrow. There's a lot of snow coming down, but we want to get some workouts into these horses tomorrow. So some training coming your way tomorrow. The drone won't be here because it'll be here next Friday on Christmas Eve. Take care. I hope you had a better week than I did, than some of us did. But as I said, that's racing, and it'll come around. Take care.